child trafficking in Afghanistan. Foyeke, the girl in the red dress, was sold by her father because the family is poor. She's lucky. Her new parents care about her. Foyeke's not alone. Many families have little choice but to sell their own children, especially in the rural provinces of Afghanistan. Across the country, Taliban violence has given rise to a huge wave of refugees. Many were forced to leave everything behind. Since the Taliban took power again, Afghanistan's grinding poverty has grown worse. And it's children who suffer most. A village in the Fariba province. Turkmenistan lies just beyond the mountains. The capital, Kabul, is far away. Most people here live in homes made of mud bricks. There's little work and poverty is rampant. Maria and her 4 children are going hungry. She's already given away 2 other sons and sold 1 daughter for the equivalent of 280 euros.
I couldn't feed them or provide clothing. I don't have the money. I do washing, work as a baker, and as a maid. That's how we try to make ends meet.
The family's water supply is in these yellow canisters. There's no clean running water in the village. Maria's husband died. Since then, she's been on her own. And with several children, she's unlikely to find a new husband.
I work, but it's not enough. We didn't have flour, oil, and other things we needed. That's why I was forced to give my children away.
What became of her sons is unclear. Her daughter fared relatively well. She now lives with a couple in a neighboring district. Her new mother, Hajara, says they had no children of their own.
She was just 20 days old when we adopted her. Now she's 1.5.
Hajara and her husband had tried to have a child of their own for 10 years.
My life has changed completely, for the better. I was really depressed. Now I spend a lot of time with my child, and I'm happy. I had no choice. What else could I do? I have nothing. I work from early in the morning until late at night. And in the end, I can do nothing but sit here and weep. Of course I remember my husband and my children. They're my everything. How could I not think of them? But what should I do?
The radical Islamist Taliban returned to power here in August 2021. Checkpoints in the streets of Kabul, like this one, have been a fact of life for years. But the new restrictions affect women the most. Women may only leave the home fully veiled. The burqa was already compulsory during the first Taliban rule, and now it is again. Most aid organizations left Afghanistan when international troops withdrew. Experts say this has exacerbated what was already a serious economic crisis.
Poverty has grown since international humanitarian aid has been reduced. It's having a major impact on development in Afghanistan. Many families are even poorer than before, especially those who have been displaced from their home region by the war against the Taliban. And that means some people have been selling their children or selling an organ.
A refugee camp in the capital, Kabul. Hundreds of people live in tents in the north of the city, like here in the Sahraei district. Afghanistan is struggling to provide for the many internally displaced persons. After decades of fighting, about 700,000 people out of a population of nearly 40 million have been forced from their homes. City government workers distribute blankets, carpets, and other relief supplies. Security personnel, dressed in orange, are here to prevent the situation from getting out of control. The greater the poverty, the greater the risk that children will be sold. We head to the Erath province, 800 kilometers west of Kabul. It's a region with a particularly large number of refugees. Many had to leave all their possessions behind. Trafficking in children is widespread here.
The misery and destitution here is getting worse. According to our information, about 40 families have sold one of their children. For 50, 80 or 100,000 Afghani, that is, for 500 to 1,000 euros.
Abdul didn't know any other way to help himself either.
There's no work here, and no one helps us. That's why we sell our children, because we're hungry. Why else would we give our children away? If I don't give one away, our other children will starve.
But selling a child rarely makes a difference long term. Most of the time, the families don't escape poverty.
She was 7 years old. I sold her for 70,000 Afghani, about 700 euros. And I'm still starving. And so are my 4 children. I hoped selling one of them would keep the others from going hungry.
Yes, I sold my daughter. She was just 5 years old. 200,000 Afghani is what it brought me. 2,000 euros. But actually, I only got half in the end, and now I've lost my child. The doctor says it's caused me to suffer from mental illness. I suffer from anxiety and am restless. How can I ever get past this? I can't stop thinking about my daughter.
To child traffickers, girls are more valuable than boys. Some are married off at an extremely young age. Human rights organizations have tried to end this practice for 20 years, without success. Other girls are sexually abused and also sold to neighboring countries for the same purpose. Many boys suffer a similar fate. And the Taliban and other extremist groups also have their sights set on boys, hoping to indoctrinate them from an early age.
Some buy children to sell them again, for example, to other provinces or even to other countries. We are talking about full-on human trafficking, which is something completely different than adoption, of course. It can destroy these children's whole future if they end up with an extremist group or in the hands of rapists.
In refugee camps like Sahraei, more and more girls are facing the prospect of their childhood ending early, too early. Once married off, usually to a much older man, a girl is expected to be of service around the clock, do the cleaning, cooking, tend to the household and livestock, and more. For some, the burden is too great. The suicide rate among young women has been rising for years. A pediatric clinic in a suburb of Erath. Young mothers line up to receive medical treatment for their severely malnourished children. It's estimated that about half of the Afghan population suffers from malnutrition. This clinic treats children who are particularly weak. The doctors give them high-calorie supplements to build up their strength.
The situation is deteriorating in this country, and especially children are suffering. And today I have been heartbroken to see that the families are willing to sell their children to feed other family members. So it's heartbreaking. So it's the right time for the humanitarian community to stand up and stay with the people of Afghanistan.
Aid agencies estimate that, on average, 170 Afghan children die of malnutrition every day. Some stories do end well, at least for the time being. Foyeke was sold by her father. He hadn't asked his wife first. When she found out, her husband Nasser says she asked him every day to bring their daughter back.
I haven't had work for 6 or 7 months now. Every morning I ask for work in the marketplace, but there is none. So I was forced to sell my daughter for 115,000 Afghani. I had to pay back my debts. When my wife found out I'd sold her child, she was really angry with me. I couldn't go home for a month or two. Thank God her child is back with us now. I'm so happy.
As Afghanistan slides ever deeper into poverty, the children are at ever greater risk. In the year since the Taliban resumed control, the humanitarian crisis has grown worse. It's abundantly clear that without foreign aid, the suffering in the country will continue. And to ensure a better future, Afghanistan will have to do more to protect its children.